Hi there! Today we are going to deploy a RAS application with Docker. We will build a basic example to show the functionality of Docker init with RAS. Our application will print a hello from Docker on the screen. RAS is a modern computer programming language that makes programs run faster, keeps them safe from crashing, and helps manage the computer's memory. RAS is used to create things like video games, operating systems, and browsers that demands scalability. Let's start creating our basic RAS program. First, let's create a folder for our RAS application. And then run cargo init. This will create the necessary structure for our RAS application. It creates an src folder and the file cargo.toml, which contains the declaration of the RAS package and the basic structure of the dependencies we will use in our program. This is like a package manager for RAS. Now, let's open a Visual Studio Code. In the file main.rs, we start by importing the components from the warp library. Warp is also called as crate in Rust. It is a package of code that contains functions, types, and other items that can be reused across different programs. It makes it easy to define filters and build HTTP services. Now we will create a constant named docker underscore banner with a type $str, which is a reference to a string. We will encapsulate the ASCII docker banner between the r hash open quotation mark at the beginning and we will close the quotation mark hash and semicolon at the end. And with the tag pre, we are indicating that the enclosed text should be displayed, preserving the white space and the line break. We will add the Docker logo with the text hello from Docker. Tokyo is a popular asynchronous runtime for RAS that provides the necessary tools and abstractions for writing asynchronous code. Tokyo is also crate in RAS, and we will use it as an attribute for our code in the main file. Now, we will define the main entry point function of an asynchronous RAS program. Let's declare and define a variable named hello. With warp path end, we are setting up a rule for the web server. It's saying if someone tries to visit the main page of the website, then do something. Now we will try to do something. With .map and with instruction enclosed in the two vertical bars, we are returning an HTML page that has the content from the Docker banner constant. Now, we will use the Word framework to start a web server that listens on the IP address localhost and port 3030. We use await to wait for the server to finish running. Let's continue. To create, edit, or manage RAS projects, we will frequently interact with the file cargo.toml, which is the central place where we define project configuration, dependencies, and other project-specific settings. We will add Warp and Tokyo to the section of dependencies in our cargo file. Now we will use cargo run to see the program running in localhost. It seems that we have a typo. Here it should be commas and not dots. Let's fix that. Now let's build again with cargo run. And we have it. So our application is running correctly. Now we will use docker init command to generate all the files that our application needs to be deployed in Docker. It asks what kind of programming language we are using it, and RAS is detected automatically. Then we need to choose the version of RAS, which is 171, and the port where application is gonna listen. it is 3030 in this case, and that's it. After run docker init, it gives us some instructions to check all the files that it generated. It also tells what's the command to build our application with Docker Compose and where our application is going to be available. Let's start by docker ignore, which is the file that contains all the elements and objects that we don't want to include in our container. We also have the Docker Compose with just one service, and it's going to take the Docker file that Docker init already created, and it's going to expose our RAS application in the port 3030. The Docker file has several things. In this part, we are defining some variables and arguments that we are going to use through this Docker file. We are setting the work in the directory app. Then we have another instruction to build our RAS application using cargo build and to generate the binary into the directory bin server. Then we are copying that binary into the directory bin and we are setting it into the CMD. It means that the container will use this command to run it, our application, and expose it in the port 3030. It should work. Let's check it. So it said we should run Docker Compose app. I'm going to copy and paste here. Let's see. This is building, taking the Docker file and adding some dependencies for our application. It says the container RAS app server 1 is created. So let's check our browser. Yay! We have in localhost in the port 3030 our hello from Docker running. So we did it. We used Docker init to deploy our application in RAS. If we see, this is really easy to make it. We don't need to create everything from scratch because Docker init is going to make it. It's going to take the structure that we have already in our application and it's going to build the Docker Compose and the Docker file. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider and give it a thumbs up or subscribing to my YouTube channel for more tech tutorials. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.